I came across this post, how we survive 10,000 requests a second, switching to signed asset URLs in an emergency by Adam Fortuna. And it really hit me. This is kind of one of the edge case scenarios, but for DDOS attacks. And as we'll see in this post, how it's like kind of it stands out. So he starts. Yesterday I woke up to a ping on my Apple Watch of unusual spending on my hardcover debit card. It's not unusual to get a ping about an expense, but this was a new one. Google Cloud had charged me around $100, an unusual amount to spend. The previous day I was experimenting with Google Cloud Run, trying to migrate our Next.js staging environment from Vercel to there to save some money. I assumed I misconfigured that service, I turned it off and went about my day. Without looking into anything, he just switched off the Cloud Run and went on his day. A few hours later, I got another expense alert, this time for $200. So even after switching off the Cloud Run, he got another alert, this time double the dollars, $200. Now, I was worried. It did help that I was working from a coffee shop. It was about to rain and my laptop battery was almost dead. After speed walking the trip home while listening to Bright, I got to work tracking down what was happening. So what's the issue? My first stop was to Google Cloud Billing. That should narrow the issue down. The new expense was there. I wasn't crazy. It seemed to level off, which was a good sign. So this guy was getting basically like it's just up by 600%. Wow. This confirmed there was something costly happening, but what? I clicked over to the breakdown by service and it was clear. Cloud storage expenses were up by 2000%. So as you can see over here, cloud storage, the costs went up, they surged up by 2000%. Well, I wondered if this day would come. Let me back up and mention what services we are using really quick. What Google Cloud services does HardCover use? Not much. In fact, only 3. It uses Google Cloud Storage to store all of the images, all the avatars, user avatars, and various static images. And then it uses Google Cloud Run to have their image research service. And then it has CDN, Google CDN. The image research service doesn't do any caching, so we throw a CDN in front of it that aggressively caches images. So they have only 3 services. Cloud Run and Google CDN have worked absolutely perfectly. I haven't even touched them in 11 months. Not once I hadn't touched Google Cloud Storage either. But that was the problem. When I initially set up Google Cloud Storage, I made the bucket public with optional private files. This allowed user avatars, cover images, and other images to show on the site to be publicly accessed, but save user uploaded CSVs privately in the same place. So this guy's bucket was fully open to the public. All the files are publicly accessible except for some few CSVs. So it goes on to say how Google alerts him when a bucket has public access. So what actually happened? Let's get to the meat of it. We are still working that out and looking for ways to improve, but here's the theory. Someone has been hitting our API pretty hard recently. They likely downloaded a large amount of data from it, including every edition with URLs for covers. Those cover images are direct URLs to Google Cloud Storage. For example, so this is the example URL for the Google Cloud Storage. And this URL is basically accessible by the public. Anyone or everyone can access it. These are the images that are public. Downloading a few images from here wouldn't have shown up on my radar. In this case, someone decided to download up to 10,000 images per second. This is insane, like 10,000 images per second for close to 7 hours. Wow. it makes sense like where the bill is coming from. Why the surge of up to 2000%, right? This is equivalent to about 650 MB per second for that time period. That's about 16 terabytes of data. We don't even have that much in our bucket. They must have downloaded many things multiple times. For most people in our Discord, they are using our API to create fun things based on their history. It turns out we need more protections in place to stop bulk access. An easy solution with issues. The solution for this isn't technically difficult, but it's a pain. Make this bucket private. Doing that immediately would cause the site to no longer show images and would prevent anyone using the API from getting images. We needed a plan to make it private and generate signed URLs for all images that expire after a set period of time. Signed URLs are a variant of the original URL with additional parameters. I think of it like sending an address and a password. So it's like signed URLs are basically your backend server has access to the bucket using the IAM roles, right? But the client does not have access to that bucket. So if you make the bucket private, that is. So the backend server communicates with the bucket and says, hey, give me a signed URL. Then GCP gives you a signed URL which you send to the client, which will be valid for a specific time period. After that, it will expire. So this is basically to protect the data in the cloud storage. So he goes on to explain you can generate a signed URL using that will allow access for a specific file and a duration. That URL will look something like this. So this is an example URL. This URL contains a few specific parameters that Google Cloud Storage can use to authenticate this URL, including Google Access ID, expires, and the signature. Unless all three of these are correct, you will get an access denied error from Google Cloud Storage. And then he goes on to explain like the solutions he implemented about them. But what I wanted to show you is this insane way like people use DDoS attack just to just to make you lose money, right? And we all know like our applications like they get DDoS attacks every now and then, and you can block those requests using throttling. But in this case scenario, like it's totally unprecedented. I had never thought of this, like even having Google Cloud Storage. I knew like public images, you can't, if you want your users to store files privately, you should make it private. The bucket should be private. But for public images, like a DDoS attacks, that was like an edge case I wouldn't have thought of. So if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and comment for more. Thank you.